Good morning, everybody. Well, actually, damn, good afternoon. What's up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. I got my girls in the building. My Cecile, love you. My sis, my Ace Boom Coon, Poetic Kales. What's up, lovely? Good morning. I keep saying good morning. Good afternoon. Y'all got to realize I work night shift, yo. So I get my mornings and my evenings mixed up. But I wanted to do this kind of early because I know I'm gonna have to go to work late tonight. But we definitely got to get in on talking about these pedophiles, honey. We're going to talk about this today. Because, honey, I don't know if y'all been people from the clouds, if y'all been doing some passing by on a lot of these manosphere channels, and it just amazes me how so many people are supporting these pedophiles, supporting these predators. It just amazes me. These red pill brothers that act like they're so righteous and act like they have high standards of morals. It just amazes me how they are the biggest supporters of these pedophiles, of these grown men who admit that they have strong sexual, lustful, demonic desires for little girls, And they try to, and what amazes me is and I ain't saying all the brothers are doing this. I'm talking about the ones who have these pedophile tendencies, these ones that are living this undercover pedophilia lifestyle, how they want to keep justifying age of consent. Well, let me tell y'all something. By the grace of God, I'll be 42 November 7th of next month. If God blesses me to see it, even if I have a 17-year-old young man, even if I have a 17-year-old young man who's old enough for me, who's old enough and in his right mind to give me consent to fuck him, even though legally by law, a male at the age of 17 is old enough to give me consent to fuck him, I'm still not going to fuck him based on the simple fact that I don't have sexual demonic urges for young males half my age. I just don't have the desire for a young man, a male that young. I don't have the desire. I don't have the sexual desire for a male that young. It is just not in my spirit. It is just not in me to want, to desire. Not all these good looking 25 and up men. You mean to tell me my self-esteem is that low that I have to desire a man, a young man 20 years younger than me? My self-esteem is that shot out. My game is that weak. I feel so ugly and unattractive that I don't have the courage to go ask a man my age, could I fuck him? And this is no disrespect to my husband because I'm married, but I'm saying, if I was not married, there's something mentally wrong with your psyche. If you want somebody, if you sexually desire somebody triple your age, triple less than you in your 40s and your 50s, and because this child is 17, 18, this is what kills me. It got nothing to do with the law. It is your psyche and it's your morals. What's up, Dallas? Good to see you, Dallas. Appreciate you. First of all, the law shouldn't have to tell you when somebody is too goddamn young. You as a grown ass man And as a grown-ass woman, because you do have some females that are registered sex offenders too. I know because I work in this field, I work in this type of career where I'm exposed to registered sex offenders every day. So yes, you do have females that are also registered sex offenders. But I'm not trying to be funny. Why the law got to tell you how young somebody is? And another thing, if you have to keep justifying it, your ass already know what's wrong. If you got to sit here and say, well, the law says her, because of her age, she's legally old enough to give me consent. Just the fact that you have to address that they're legally able to consent, that's already by itself letting you know how wrong this shit is. Y'all can sit up here and justify that pedophilia bullshit all y'all want, and you men who co-sign on this shit, shame on y'all. Those of you who damn fellowship with these pedophiles on your panels, you fellowship with these pedophiles, you giving them shout outs on your videos, you letting them, participate in your panel discussions, you're putting their names in your titles, shouting them out, showing them love. Shame on any of you grown ass men who co-sign, who condone these predators. And the reason y'all do that shit because it's sad, but some of you dudes have lost your morality. Y'all more concerned with popularity than morality. Yes, I'll say it again. Some of you brothers in the manosphere, not all y'all, because some of y'all cool as hell. I rock with some of my manosphere brothers. But some of y'all more concerned about popularity than morality. You willing to throw your goddamn morals out the window just to say you cool with this dude so you could earn his subscribers. You could earn some of his love. You could earn some of his popularity. And it's a shame. Again, a lot of you dudes will co-sign with these pedophiles, with these predators, because you want to earn his recognition, his popularity. People will do anything. People will disregard their morals just to be cool with people who they know are living immorally. And like I said, as the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. If you associate with a pedophile, you do live stream panels with a pedophile, you giving shout outs to a pedophile, and most importantly, you defending a pedophile. How you up here getting mad at the women or getting mad at the men who got something to say about your predator, your pedophile friend? Why are you getting mad with the brothers and the sisters that's calling out your predator friend? A pedophile is a goddamn pedophile. And guess what? Everybody's not going to be defending your pedophile friend. And a lot of y'all that are doing it, you definitely should be ashamed if you have children, if you have daughters. How would you feel if you had grown men? How would you feel if you got a 16, 17-year-old daughter and she brings this 28-year-old man to your house? You're not going to feel some type of way. You as a grown man, you should already know that grown man does not have the best of intentions for your 17-year-old daughter. Now, I was 18 years old and I was dating a 25 or 26-year-old. When I brought that 25-year-old male to my house, my father felt some type of way. And he expressed it to me when he left. He expressed it to me. But my father knew I was 18 years old and I was already out of high school and there was nothing he could really do about it. But he automatically, what's up, Carlos? Welcome to the chat, sir. He automatically explained to me that guy, that dude, he don't have the good intentions. My father told me that. So anyway, we're going to talk about the strict lifestyle and the strict rules and regulations of being a registered sex offender, because since a lot of you men, yes, a lot of you dudes in the manosphere circle and some of these females too, a lot of y'all are defending this pedophile behavior. Y'all can defend it all y'all want. I'm not worried about that, because I've already accepted the fact that you have people, popularity is more important than morals, than morality. People will do anything for clout. Y'all will be cool and close to people who y'all know living foul just so y'all can earn their subscribers and their fan base and their friendship. But one thing I'm gonna let y'all know is, guess what? The law does not care. If the law finds out, any of you grown ass men, if somebody blows the whistle on y'all behind and y'all admitting and self-incriminating yourselves that you love young women, that you love to have sex and you have sexual desires for young women, if it gets to the law and the law is finding out and the law has evidence that you have admitted that you have had sexual relations with young women or with children, the law is not going to defend you like the manosphere. The law is not going to defend you like your male counterparts. The law is not going to defend you like some of these thirsty ass, mammies out here like to defend these pedophile ass dudes. If the law gets a hold of you grown ass men who are admitting that you love to smash children or young women because she's at the age to consent, that's the bullshit excuse y'all want to keep using, then guess what? I'm here to let y'all know what is going to happen, the type of restrictions you're going to be under in the event you ever have to register as a sex offender. What's up, Queen of the South? What's up, sis? My sister says, when I was 16, a mall security dude tried me. He even stalked me too. It all started when I missed my bus and he gave me a ride home. We started hanging out and made a move and I swerved him. After I swerved him, he started stalking me and acting crazy. Yes, and that's why it's very imperative that any of my sisters or my brothers out here, if you got a daughter and your daughter's attractive, and she's overly developed, a lot of these young women are overly developed. You have some of these young women, they're 15, some of these young women are 13, 14, and 15, but their bodies are built like 23-year-olds. And the sick part of it is y'all have to understand the psyche of the pedophile. They could look at these young women and can tell the way these young girls act and the way these young girls carry themselves. They can tell these young women are underage. But the mind of a pedophile, he's not looking at her age. He's looking at her physical attributes. He's going by how big her titties is. He's going by how big her ass is. His lustful desires are overruling his common sense. His demonic desires will make an excuse. Well, she may not be a woman, but she looked like a woman. Because as I always say, there's demon in the semen. There's demon in the semen. You got a lot of these dudes walking around here with demon in the semen. And y'all heard it here first. Anybody says demon in the semen, they got it from Mocha. Nobody came up with that for me, all right? So I'm going to make my own t-shirt, y'all, that says there's a demon in the semen. There's a demon in the goddamn semen, all right? So no further ado, we're going to talk about, for those of you men who have a problem with your penis, you lack discipline. You got to smash young girls. You got to smash little girls because you don't have enough confidence in yourself to go out there and talk to a woman, because you know a woman ain't going to fall for your lame ass, corny ass BS. So you have to go to a young girl who you know is young and dumb and inexperienced, and she doesn't know, you know what I'm saying, how old snake ass dudes move. So it's easy for y'all to manipulate and take advantage of these young girls, because you know you can get away with giving a young girl Scooby snacks. When dealing with an older woman, a woman your age, you know you got to come correct. You can't just ask for some ass and expect her to put it out there on a platter. You're gonna have to prove your worth for a real woman gives herself to you. But you know, with these young girls, you can get away with giving her Scooby snacks. You get away with taking her to the Chinese buffet for $5.99 and buy her some hair bundles, and she letting you smash her in the backseat of your old 89 Buick. Okay, y'all know y'all able. What's up, Rashad Lewis? Good afternoon, sir. Y'all know with these young girls, they don't know no better. All this trying to condone, you need she done hit the wall. She done hit the wall. That's a pedophile ass excuse. Y'all trying to come up with a pedophile. That's that goddamn pedophile theory. Don't deal with women your age. Don't deal with old women. Don't deal. No, that these low self-esteem ass dudes. Y'all the one running after these young girls. Cause y'all know all y'all got to do is buy her an outfit from the mall and buy her some McDonald's. She letting you smash. All right. So I'm here to try to help you brothers out, to try to school you men who have undercover pedophile tendencies, to let you know you keep believing in that bullshit. The law gonna get a hold of your pedophile ass. And when the law does get a hold of you, you're going to have a strict lifestyle you have to live by. Now, everybody already knows I done addressed it 1,000 times. I've did several content on Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty. However, I never went into the strict laws and the regulations that these registered sex offenders have to live by. And the life of a registered sex offender, they have a very strict lifestyle. It's to the point you damn near can't be a human being once you have to register to be a sex offender. Excuse me. So for you grown ass men that's going around smashing these underage females, and your excuse is, well, she's old enough to consent. She's old enough to consent. Let me tell you something. You get a hold of the wrong one, and they got parents or somebody in their life that finds out you're smashing them and taking advantage of them, they can report you to their local police department. And guess what? If they have any real solid facts and solid evidence that you are smashing an underage female, even though she's old enough to give you consent, if the right parents get the right lawyers on their team, you have to register as a sex offender. So I am going to discuss today on my panel. I'm going to be talking about the strict lifestyle of the registered sex offender. So maybe you guys will think twice. Maybe you guys will think twice about putting your penis in something that's underage. All right, so we're going to discuss the rules and regulations. So keep in mind that once you get caught smashing an underage chick, you get caught being sexually involved with the female that's old enough to consent. Because in a lot of states, even if a female is old enough to consent, instead of you registering as a registered sex offender for child molestation, you can still have to register as a registered sex offender, but you'll be under a different type of level. You have 3 different type of levels of being a registered sex offender. So if you decide to smash a female in your state that is legally able to consent to having sex with you, let's say is 17 years old is the age where she's legally able to consent. The problem is she's still underage. She's still under the age of 18. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to register as a sex offender due to statutory rape. Now, there's a difference between statutory rape and child molestation, because a lot of these dudes are dumb as hell. I've been listening to their panels. I've been listening to them justifying, making excuses because a female is 17. A lot of these men, grown-ass men, don't know the law. They don't know the law. They don't understand the law. And the sad part is a lot of you dudes who fellowship y'all favorite predators, who fellowship y'all favorite social media leaders who are already being accused of being pedophiles and predators, and y'all still hanging out with them, y'all still donating, you still cash apping. A lot of them are misleading y'all because the problem is they don't know the law. And that's why I'm here to let y'all know the law, since y'all favorite content creators that are predators and pedophiles are not telling y'all the law. They're going to lead y'all astray to do the same bullshit they doing. And guess what's going to happen? The manosphere is going to be full of registered sex offenders. That's what's going to happen, because you don't have any. If any of them meant each other any good, they would be trying to discourage each other from even participating in that type of pedophilia lifestyle. If anything, they would be discouraging each other from getting themselves involved in that type of situation. So let me go ahead and break down all of the rules. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. So, in the event you become a registered sex offender because you have no control over your penis, you lack discipline. What's up, Double C? Good afternoon, Double C. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Anybody who's coming into the chat room and not knowing what's on the menu for today, what I'm discussing, I work as a correctional officer in corrections, so I'm giving all of you guys the rules and regulations of a registered sex offender. So again, you have a lot of these guys in the manosphere and the Black YouTube sector that are going around smashing underage females. And what they're not understanding is when they get caught, when it gets into the right hands of the law and they become registered sex offenders, their whole lifestyle is going to change. There's going to be a lot of strict rules and regulations. This is why Nicki Minaj is fighting so hard to try to get Kenneth Petty off, because I didn't even see the $5 donation, Dallas. Thank you, Dallas, for the $5 donation. Appreciate you. This is the reason why. What's up, King Bob? What's up, King? King in the building. This is the reason why Nicki Minaj is trying to get her husband off, because she's feeling the funk of being married to a registered sex offender. They have the strictest rules, the strictest. I ain't trying to be funny. I would rather do time in prison than to be a registered sex offender that's free. I rather do time in prison, because once you become a registered sex offender, it don't take much to fuck up and, end up right back in the hands of the law. So let me give y'all the rules and regulations. Once you become a registered sex offender, the first thing is, for all you pedophiles out here who have not been caught, I'm giving y'all some very valuable information, since y'all brothers in the manosphere not going to do it, since the brothers on the panel not going to do it. And make sure y'all share this video. Y'all like, share, subscribe. We need to let these dudes out here with these pedophile tendencies, they need to be educated on what's going to happen in the event the law gets a whip of them taking advantage of these young women out here. This is going to happen. So the first thing that's going to happen when you meet the judge is going to look at all the elements of your case. They're going to look at how young the female is that you was sexually taken advantage of. And when I say sexually take advantage, first of all, because I've been hearing this same line, I've been peeping from the clouds. I've been listening to these pedophiles and all these man spaces saying the same line. She's at the age of legal consent. She's at the age of legal consent. She's legally of age to consent. I have heard that line 1,000 times. That's the line I would like to call the pedophile's excuse. A lot of these pedophiles have been using it as an excuse to smash young women. She's legally able to consent. Yes. Meaning in that state, let's say if you're in the state of Georgia, a female at the age of 17 is legally able to consent. But what'll happen is, if you get caught having sexual relations and there's proof of evidence, you can get filed against you. You get charged with statutory rape. Statutory rape is different from child molestation. Statutory rape means, yes, the child was legally able to consent, but this is the problem. She's still a child. She's still a child. Okay? So she's legally able to consent. Unlike with child molestation, a child under 17, under the legal age to consent and your age, it becomes oh my goodness, I'm having short thought process. It becomes child molestation when they're under a certain age. So I'm going to look all of that up right now so we don't get them confused. But I know statutory rape means the child was old enough to consent, but the problem is she's still a child. So you do have a lot of registered sex offenders that have the charge of statutory rape, which means that the child was in her right mind and she was mature enough to know what she was doing. But the law says that you, as a grown man, even if that 17-year-old girl wasn't special ed or mentally not capable of knowing what's going on, even though she's 17 and agreed to have sex with you, you didn't have to rape her for it. She willingly took down her panties or willingly participated in the sexual activity. The law says your ass was still too goddamn old to be sleeping with her. That's what the law says. So to all my pedophile spirit brothers, pedosphere, not manosphere, pedosphere, because y'all around here condoning these grown-ass men smashing these young women. Guess what? The law don't give a damn. The law will lock your ass up. So you listen to these dudes manipulate you into smashing these young women if you want to. Like I said, once the law get a hold of it, the law not going to have no mercy on you. I'm going to tell you that now. So if the victim is at least 14, but less than 16 of age, and the offender is 18 years of age or younger, and is no more than 4 years older than the victim, the crime will be reduced to a misdemeanor, which still can make you a registered sex offender. So usually, like I said, every state is different. Every state is different. But in most cases, a child under 16, it becomes sexual molestation, child molestation. Child molestation is a form of child abuse in which an adult or older adolescent uses a child for sexual pleasure, for sexual stimulation. So I'm going to give y'all some more of these rules. What's up, CC Rose? So when you have to register as a sex offender and you stand in front of the judge is going to tell you your charges, and then she's going to tell you you are hereby going to have to register as a registered sex offender. What's going to happen is you're going to have to be assigned a state probation officer. What's up, CC Rose? Blessings to you. Don't they put sex offenders in their own section of prison to keep them away in general population? Not necessarily, Double C. I work in the jail, and believe it or not, they don't separate sexual offenders like they used to. For one, the reason why they don't is because the jails and prisons have become so overcrowded that they really don't have the room to separate them, because it's so many registered sex offenders. It is hard to make room to separate them. But in certain cases, let's say that sex offender gets exposed in general population. Let's say if one of the other inmates find out that inmate's charges, and you know that most inmates, they don't respect registered sex offenders. They don't respect child molesters. They don't respect men who are incarcerated for those type of charges. And that's another thing for you pedophiles out there. Y'all think it's cool to be a pedophile and smash these young women, but let me tell you something. When you go to prison and you go to jail and these dudes find out your charges and they find out you're not in jail for some hardcore shit, that you didn't murder somebody, you didn't kill somebody, they find out that you're in there because you molested somebody's child. Keep in mind, these inmates, these prisoners, they do not respect pedophiles. They do not respect child molesters. They will beat you up. They will gang up on you. They will take your commissary from you. They will make your time miserable. So for all you pedophiles and the manosphere and all these other spaces, keep in mind, if you ever have to get locked up and do time because you failed to do something as a registered sex offender, or until or they have to lock you up until they decide to register you as a sex offender. If these men, these inmates, these prisoners, they find out you're in jail, and trust me, they're going to find out. These inmates find out everything. They find out stuff way before us officers do. Inmates have the tendency, they find out everything. So even if you try to be quiet, even if you try to be secretive about your child molestation, your pedophilia charges, they're going to find out. And when they find out, these inmates, these prisoners are going to make your life a living hell. So to answer your question, Double C, they don't really separate them. The only time they separate them is, say, if that pedophile, his charges get exposed and it gets to other inmates and they threaten that inmate, they beat up that inmate. Now they have to remove that inmate because now his or her life is in danger at that point. That's the only way these jails are going to separate a inmate that has the charges of a registered sex offender. That's what happened with Nicki Minaj's brother. Remember, if y'all have been keeping up, Nicki Minaj's brother, remember when they first locked him up, he was within the general population. But because he's Nicki Minaj's brother, and these inmates, they watch the news, these inmates, they watch the TV, these inmates knew who he was when he came in there. And I know these officers, I know the jail, the prison where he's at, I know they knew who he was. So they intentionally did not protect him. If anything, Nicki Minaj's brother should have been in protective custody the moment he got in that jail. And see, this is the other part that you pedophiles don't understand. The jail is not going to protect you because you're a pedophile. So get that myth out your mind that, okay, if I'm a pedophile, because I love to smash young chicks, I don't have confidence to smash women my age, and I get caught and I have to go to prison. These prisons, they don't always look out for you. They're not going to always separate you. A lot of these prisons, they're not separating child predators. They're putting you in general population. They intentionally setting you up to be devoured by these wolves. And I hate to say it, some of these jails are very corrupt. Now in the jail where I work at, yes, they're in general population too. But in the event that inmate's life gets threatened or whatever, then we have the duty to separate them because we have to protect the inmates. We cannot just leave them out there to die or get hurt. So to all you pedophiles, you go to prison. Just realize prison don't give a damn about you. They will put you in the same unit with these badass gangsters, with these murderers. So you don't get to, when you go to prison, you don't get to pick and choose where you want to go. And you know what I noticed? A lot of these child predators, when they get in these prisons and these grown men threaten them, once they find out what their charges is, I've seen grown men break down and come to me like a little boy and say, I want to kill myself. I'm confessing to suicide, because they know once they admit to an officer that they want to commit suicide, we have to remove them. So a lot of these grown men out here that's so bold with their penis, they ain't bold with their penis when they come to prison. I done seen grown men chicken out, punk out, because their charges have been exposed. They ain't man enough to want to stay in general population because they know now somebody done already put the bug in their ear. We gonna beat your ass when you go to sleep. Or we gonna rape you when you go to sleep. I've had grown men who so bold, these same pedophiles that's so bold in the streets, smashing and taking advantage of these young girls. They get in these prisons, they punk out. They don't want to be around these grown men. Oh, they can't fight. They can't stand on their own then. I've seen it. They big, bad, and bold in these streets. But let them come in prison, they scared. I had grown men come to me. I need to be removed from here, man. My life is being threatened. Oh, but you wasn't caring when you were smashing them young girls out there. So let me give y'all some of these rules. So there, you're going to be assigned a community probation officer. This is what's going on with Nicki Minaj's husband. He's been assigned a probation officer who's basically going to be his lifetime babysitter. When you become a registered sex offender, you basically have signed up to be babysitted for the rest of your life. You're going to be assigned a probation officer. And this is by the court of law. And what will happen mean, you're going to have to report to your probation officer on a regular. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, he has a probation officer. He has a community supervised probation officer that's going to be assigned to him for the rest of his life. Now, let's say if his community officer, his probation officer, decides to retire or decides to quit or find another job, he's going to get assigned a new probation officer. Whatever the case is, he's going to always have a probation officer. And guess what? All probation officers ain't the same. You got some probation officers that are kind of cool, kind of laid back. You know, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, they don't bother you. But in most cases, a lot of these probation officers are very nasty, are very by the books. And you don't get to decide what type of probation officer you may get. As a registered sex offender, most probation officers are very strict, and they should be, and they have to be, because you have already been ordained by the law that you are a threat to children, that you are a high risk factor, that you are a threat to the community. This is why Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, he's a registered sex offender, and he has a probation officer that's going to be assigned to him for the rest of his life. All right. So, as a registered sex offender, the defendant shall submit to a search of person, residence, papers, and vehicles. That means when you become a registered sex offender, for all you pedophilic dudes out here, for all you Chester the child molesters who love to smash young chicks because she's legally able to consent. Once you become a registered sex offender and you get a probation officer, that probation officer can do whatever the hell they want to do. Meaning, as your probation officer, and you're assigned to me because you're a registered sex offender, if I want to be nasty and go to your house 4 a.m. just to check your goddamn house, guess what? I can go, and ain't shit you can do about it. Nicki Minaj's husband, if his probation officer wants to go to Nicki Minaj's 10 bedroom mega $1 million mansion, guess what? Her security has to let Kenneth Petty registered community officer, her security cannot intrude in Kenneth Petty's community officer coming to her house anytime he wants. As a registered sex offender, your probation officer can show up unannounced. They don't have to warn you. They don't have to call you. They don't have to say, hey, we're coming by. We just want to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. Kenneth Petty, his probation officer, can do what he wants. He could come to his house unannounced. What's up, Keystone? What's up, Tyrone Church? Everybody who's entering the chat, to just let y'all know what I'm talking about. I noticed there's been a lot of pedophilia going on in these male spaces, these male sectors. A lot of these pedophiles are being exposed. A lot of them are up for trial. A lot of them have pending cases against them. And I'm just giving information since a lot of these other brothers are not doing it because they're too concerned with their popularity instead of morality. You know, they're giving these pedophiles a pass. They're letting them be on the panels. They're giving them space to their channels. They're defending these pedophiles. Basically, I'm giving them information if their favorite pedophiles were to get found guilty for their charges and smashing underage females, what they're going to be up against. Because I work in corrections, so I'm giving the information. If you are a man that has a problem with your penis and you love to smash underage females and you have to register as a sex offender, I am letting you know what you're going to have to deal with. I'm letting you know the rules and the regulations that a registered sex offender like Nicki Minaj's husband, the strict rules and the strict lifestyle of a registered sex offender. So if you want to keep smashing young chicks or these little girls, may the force be with you. But once the law gets a hold of it and they find out and you have to register as a sex offender, this is the shit you're going to have to deal with. So you're going to get a probation officer that can come to your house anytime they want. If they want to come 3 in the morning, if they want to come on the weekend, they can come whenever they want. As a registered sex offender, you have no say so. You cannot tell your probation officer when they can and when they can't stop by your house. They can come by anytime they want. Exactly, Tyrone, and it's sickening. And I'm not saying all the guys in the manosphere doing it, because all the guys, all the men in the manosphere are not doing it. But the truth be told, a lot of them are. They are condoning they very, very favorite pedophile. They are worshiping and fellowshipping these predators. And it's something really, you have a sickness as a grown man if you're okay to still be friends with another grown man who is going around here smashing and taking advantage of little girls sexually. Yeah, they're getting bolder and bolder. And the reason they're getting bolder and bolder is because it's a lot of these dudes that are riding for them. And the sad part is that the reason why they're getting bolder and bolder, because it's the most well-respected male content creators that are not man enough to step up and say, you know what, I got respect for y'all. I respect y'all, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to fellowship with y'all. I'm not going to congregate with anybody who has these type of accusations against them. Once you are cleared and once you have been found not guilty, yes, I will let you back on my panel. Yes, I will let you back in my channel. Yes, once your name has been cleared as a man, I will respect you enough to on my platform and say, well, brother so-and-so has been cleared. So because he has been cleared through the eyes of the law, I'm going to allow him to have space back in the manosphere. I'm going to allow him to have space back in the in my sector. A lot of these grown-ass men are condoning these predators, these pedophiles, all because they don't have any morals. Because any man with morals is not going to congregate and fellowship with men who have already been called out. Not only called out, half of them are admitting. They are admitting that they love to smash little girls. And as a grown man, if you can still hang around men like that, something is wrong with you. Because if I know if my husband, if one of his friends have admitted to being a child molester and he's been accused by the court of the law and not found cleared of being a child molester, I'm going to think something is wrong with my husband. I'm going to have to get him a psychiatric evaluation, because no grown man should feel comfortable fellowshipping, hanging around another grown man who has admitted that I love little girls sexually. I've had sex with young girls. I want to have sex with young girls. I don't want to have sex with women my age. Also, they help from the demon race, because there's demon in the semen. There's demon in the semen, ladies and gentlemen. So keep in mind, you're going to have a probation officer that can check your home. Not only that, they can check your car. Once you become a registered sex offender, you drive anywhere, your probation officer can follow you and check your car, and they don't need your permission to do it. So that's going to be the first thing. Keep in mind now, once you register as a sex offender, to all you pedophiles out here, from time to time, you will be requested to do a mental evaluation. You're going to have to seek the mental health provider. This is the law's way of keeping up with your mental psyche. They need to keep evaluating a registered sex offender to see if his behavior is still the same, to see if it has changed. Now, keep in mind, once you become a registered sex offender, even if you're getting mentally evaluations and they're good, they're improving, you're still going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of your life. Just because your behavior is getting better, it's not going to get you off. Just letting you know that to all these pedophiles out here, once you register as a sex offender, they're just keeping up with your mental awareness. It does not mean they're going to write you off and let you off because your behavior is getting better. Once a registered sex offender, always a registered sex offender. They're also going to be asking you for a pest specimen. You're going to have to be drug screened. So Nicki Minaj's husband, he's getting his piss checked on a regular. They ask for a specimen because and I'm going to go into this later because it's also one of the rules and regulations of being a registered sex offender. You cannot use drugs. You cannot smoke weed. You cannot do cocaine. If Nicki Minaj's husband, if any of that is found in his system, his ass is going to prison. As a registered sex offender, you cannot use any type of drug substances. But we're going to talk about that later. So, as a registered sex offender, they're going to check your piss, your specimen. I don't know how often they do it. Every state varies. They may check it every 2 weeks. They may check it every week. They may check it once a month. I don't know. But what I do know is, as a registered sex offender, they're not going to tell you when they're going to check your piss. They're not going to give you an appointment when to come in and check your piss. They'll just tell you, we need to check your piss today. We need you to come in today. So guess what? If you've been smoking weed all night, and you know weed don't come out the system within 24 hours. If you've been smoking weed all night and your probation officer says, I got to check your piss, and she finds weed, marijuana, a specimen of it shows up in the test, you're going back to prison. Because as a registered sex offender, they tell you up front, you cannot use any drugs. Yes, Nerly, you're right. Pedophiles have no life or rights. They don't. That's why I'm telling all these pedophiles out here, once your ass get caught and you got to register, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, prostitutes have to register too after getting caught one too many times. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, in some instances, the registered sex offender, if they want to do your blood test, if they want to check your piss, you can tell them you do have the right to say, I don't want my piss checked, or I don't want to be screened. You have the right to say that. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to come up with a very good ass reason as to why you don't want your piss checked. And guess what? They're going to check it anyway. All right. So keep that in mind. So the next thing, which is very important, as a registered sex offender, your probation officer, health provider personnel can ask for a urine blood specimen for the presence of drugs, including alcohol, which I just said. The next thing is you have to stay away from the victim. You have to stay away from the victim. You cannot have any contact with the victim. You cannot have contact with the victim's family. See, Nicki Minaj's husband may be in hot water because the victim has already reached out, and the victim is currently suing them, stating that Nicki Minaj has tried to coerce the victim into recanting her story. Let me tell you, registered sex offenders, this: your victim cannot recant their story, even if you pay them $1 million, because it's not up to the victim anymore. The state has taken it up. So let's say if you threaten your victim that you done molested, let's say if you threaten the little girl that you inappropriately had sexual relations with, and you try to tell your victim, well, if you tell them I didn't do it, if you tell them we never had sex, I'ma pay you, or I'ma kill your family. It don't matter what threats you make, the state has already ordained you as a registered sex offender. So your victim cannot get you off. Also, if that victim can prove that you have been reaching out to them, even if you as the rapist have not reached out, but your brother, your sister, your wife, if you as the rapist, anybody in your circle, any family, any relatives, like Nicki Minaj's husband has had Nicki's goons reach out to her. Even Nicki Minaj herself has reached out, and she's married to Kenneth Petty. This is not a good look for Kenneth Petty. As a rapist, listen, if you have raped me as a child, you cannot call my mama, my daddy, my cousins. That is one of the rules as a registered sex offender. You cannot have any kind of contact in person, by telephone, by email. You cannot go near your victim's property. As a registered sex offender, you're not allowed to contact the victim. Also, you have to always distribute a DNA sample. In most cases, during a rape, the rapist's DNA was already found. First of all, you cannot become a registered sex offender without evidence. So when a man says, listen, y'all, because this is going to happen a lot. If a man says, I didn't even do anything, I don't know why I had to register as a sex offender, I didn't even do anything, he's already lying. Because to become a registered sex offender, that means they already have legal proof that you did what you did. They already have proof of it. Kenneth Petty's victim, they found his DNA on her. This is how he became a registered sex offender. So for all you pedophiles out there, I don't care how slick you try to be. You have a lot of these pedophiles, after they don't have sex with a child, they try to wipe off the DNA. They will make their victim take a bath, make the victim take a shower. You cannot always, DNA is hard evidence. Even if you make your rape victim take a bath or a shower, there's still going to be some type of DNA left. You have to realize the way a woman's vagina is made, the way a female's vagina is made, you cannot wash a man's DNA all the way out your vagina, even if you were to douche. A lot of these pedophiles try to be slick. They think if they just get head from the victim without actual penetration, that they can get away with having sex with these females. That DNA is going to be somewhere. Even if you make your victim use Listerine after she gave you head, that DNA is going to be somewhere. A lot of these pedophiles, y'all try to be slick. Y'all try to make these young girls give y'all head. Y'all try not to nut in their mouth. Y'all try to be slick and not leave any of y'all DNA, but DNA is always present. You cannot wash DNA for all you sick pedophiles out there. You're going to leave something behind. Because y'all try to be slick and think if y'all don't actually put your penis in a female, they can't catch you. They still can catch you. The DNA shall provide to the probation officer, the defendant shall provide a release which allows the probation officer to have access to all medical, clinical treatment, attendance of work records for driving and criminal history. Now, for all of you pedophiles who are smashing these underage females, if you ever get caught after register as a sex offender, by law, your probation office has to have access to all your medical records. So anything that's going on with you medically, they're going to know. If you get syphilis or you get gonorrhea, anything happens to you medically, or you find out you have cancer, keep in mind your probation officer is going to know. Your clinical records, by law, a lot of us have what's called HIPAA privacy, which means none of your medical records, as human beings, we have the right to say, I don't want my medical record released to my job. I don't want my medical record released to my husband. We all have rights, HIPAA rights, where none of your medical information is released. As a registered sex offender, your rights, your probation officer could get your medical records anytime they want. So you can't say, well, that's my personal medical information. That's my personal business. No, it's not. Once you become a registered sex offender, you don't have no personal private business no more. Nothing is private. If you're getting medical treatment, your probation officer is going to know. Also, your probation officer is going to know how often you are attending work. If you do have a job, if you do work, your probation officer can call your job anytime they want and find out if you really been to work or not. So guess what? As a registered sex offender, you cannot lie and say you've been to work. And you know you ain't been to work. Your PO can call your job. And guess what? Your job is not going to lie for you because they don't need no bullshit. Because they got to have records. They got to provide proof that you work when you work. And let me tell you something. These job places, I don't care how cool you are with your boss or your supervisor, they're not going to cover you and jeopardize their business knowing that you're not working or you're not coming to work. They're not going to lie for you. They don't want that kind of heat because they cannot lie to the law because now it puts them in jeopardy. Also, your PO will have access to your driving and your criminal history. So if you get in any shit while you are a registered sex offender, your PO is going to know. If you get any traffic tickets, you get any traffic citations, your probation officer is going to know. They're going to report it. Because as soon as they pull your name up, as soon as the officer pulls you over, and they put your name in the system, it's going to say registered sex offender. So they're going to know. You cannot lie. When you are a registered sex offender, they're going to know it right off the muscle. Soon as they pull your name up, it's going to have a big red flag, registered sex offender. And if that officer is catching you doing something that you should not be doing at that time, let's say if you just get pulled over because one of your tail lights is out, but the officer smells weed in your car, or the officer smells alcohol on your breath, the officer is already going to know you're a registered sex offender. Whether you want to admit it or not, he or she is going to know because when they pull up their database, it's going to have registered sex offender by your name. Where I work at in the jail, in the county where I work at, I already know who registered sex offender is without him or her telling me. I already know who my registered sex offenders are. Not only do I know who my registered sex offenders are, my database lets me know the age of your victims. I will know if you had sex with somebody under 10 years old. I will know what kind of sex you had with your victim. My software lets me know what kind of sex you had. That's how deep it is out here. Yep, they better not catch you at the park. They better not catch you at Chuck E. Cheese. They better not catch you anywhere you should not be. To all you pedophiles. When you have to register, they better not catch you in any no playground, no nothing where kids are. All right, so you have a lot of strict conditions as a registered sex offender. You have to agree to not violate the law. They will make you sign off that you will not violate any of these laws. You waive the right to move to another state or country that does not align with your state regulations. As a registered sex offender, guess what? You cannot go out of town when you want. You cannot go. Nicki Minaj's husband, he can't go on a cruise with his wife on their anniversary. He cannot go to the Caribbean islands. He can't do none of that. Yes, Miss Rhodes. I know a lot of people don't know this. That's why I'm giving y'all the information. Yeah, as a registered sex offender, your PO gets your medical records. Yes, ma'am. See, these pedophiles going around here smashing these young women, and they ain't understanding what they get ready to sign up for. That's right. I get your medical records, sir. And if you think about it, CC Rose, it makes sense though, because you have to realize these guys are a high risk factor to society, and you have to know what's medically going on with them. Because think about it, if I get your medical record and I find out you have AIDS or gonorrhea, I need to know that, because I never know when you got a slip up and go out there and smash another female, another underage female. Now I could charge you with two things, because not only did you violate the law by smashing another young female when you register as a sex offender, you also gave her gonorrhea. You also gave her AIDS knowing you had it, and you know you had it because it's in your medical record. If I, as your probation officer, if I see you got AIDS, if I see you got gonorrhea, if I see it, you damn sure know you got it. So if you out here smashing underage young women, not only could I make sure you charge with child molestation, I'm gonna also make sure you charge with knowingly going around here giving people STDs knowing you got it. I'm gonna charge you with both. If I'm your probation officer, I'm gonna charge your ass with both of them. Double C says, I know you are not lying. I know someone who was in prison in Georgia for having sex with underage girl, and he can't leave Georgia. Exactly. That's why I'm schooling y'all and telling y'all what's going on. Please make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure I get the likes up, everybody, because I'm giving y'all some valuable information. The manosphere is not going to give you this information. This is the only time you're going to hear this information. So please make sure I get my likes up. It's free. It's not going to cost y'all anything. Those who want to donate, you're welcome to donate at Diamond Girl. My cash app is $DYMONDGYRL, because I'm giving y'all some valuable information. You're not going to get it from nowhere else. Nobody's not going to tell you this. Okay, so, all right. So, yeah, you cannot leave the state. Nicki Minaj's husband, that's how come he got in trouble. He was a registered sex offender in the state of New York, because that is where he committed his offense. His dumb ass went to California with Nicki Minaj. I don't know if he thought because he's with a star, his probation officer wasn't going to do shit to him. They came and pulled his ass right from California. Law enforcement went right to Nicki's residence, pulled his pedophile ass over to their local police precinct and told them, yo, dude, you supposed to register here in the state of California. You are a registered sex offender. So even though you left New York, you supposed to register. For one, as a registered sex offender, you cannot move where you want to move at. You have to check with your PO first. You have to make sure your probation officer approves and says, okay, you can move to California. You can move to another state. But you have to ask permission. I'm telling you, being a registered sex offender is like being a child. You got your parents telling you what to do. The law becomes your mommy and your daddy. That's why Kenneth Petty is in trouble now. Because his dumb ass knew good damn well. Let me tell you something. When you register sex offender, they give your ass a big ass book. The book is bigger than the goddamn Bible, telling you all the shit you can and can't do. So he cannot say he did not know he was not supposed to let the PO know he was going to move his simple ass to California with Nikki. He was supposed to let his probation officer know first. And he know it. That is why he pled guilty. He didn't buck. He pled guilty. He knew better than that. Nikki's slow ass didn't know, because Nikki's not a registered sex offender. She don't understand the tight rules and regulations that her husband is under. But I bet you she's finding out now how strict it is for him. That's why it's important to teach safe sex. That really bothers me. Look up my medical record. No STDs and stuff over here. Absolutely. Yep, this is what they got to go through, CC. Okay, so yes, as a registered sex offender, you cannot just go to the Bahamas. Nicki Minaj is going to have a very miserable marriage because her husband can't do shit. He can't do nothing. And this is not to be rejoice at it, but he can't do shit. She can't take him on a cruise. They can't go to the Caribbeans. He cannot leave anywhere out of California unless his PO authorizes it. Also, as a registered sex offender, whatever rights you have to property, the police can take it from you as evidence. For example, let's say if Nicki Minaj's husband was driving Nicki Minaj's Lamborghini down the highway and he's swerving left and right or whatever, and the police pulls him over and finds out that he has been drinking, the police, they can take her car and seize it as evidence that they found beer or illegal substances in her car. Now, yes, she can get a car back. They can't keep it, but they can seize any property Kenneth Petty has in his possession. They can seize it for as long as they want, until they get all the evidence they need from it. That's how it be. She bought a microwave and got a Pop-Tart. Yes, love you. Yes, she did. Now, here's some more information. As a registered sex offender, and I may be repeating the same thing, y'all. It's a lot going on. With this, they have so many rules and regulations, so I got a lot of shit I got to put out there. You shall not change your address. You shall not change your residence. Like I said, your PO has to approve. Kenneth Petty cannot move, even if Nikki buys a brand new house, a brand new mansion in Puerto Rico. They cannot move there unless his PO gives them the okay. I already told y'all victim contact. No contact with the victim, no correspondence, no telephone, no electronic communication. You cannot reach out to the victim through YouTube, through Twitter, through Instagram, under any circumstances. You cannot communicate through a third party, except under circumstances approved in advance by the court. In other words, Nicki Minaj's husband, let's say if he wanted his brother or his cousin to reach out to her, to the victim, it has to be approved by the court. He just can't go and get Nikki. Kenneth Petty cannot send anybody to the victim without the court knowing. 9 times out of 10, the court is not going to approve of it because the court looks out for the victim. The court does not want the victim to be any more victimized than the victim has already been. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to throw it out. Employment. You must report your employment to your PO. Nicki Minaj's husband, he's lucky on that because his ass ain't never going to work. So he ain't got to report his employment. But for you average pedophile registered sex offenders, if you get a job anywhere, you first have to ask your PO, and your PO has to approve for you to work there. You can't just pick where you want to work and you work there and your PO don't know about it. This is another thing. If you have to register as a sex offender, you cannot have any possession of sexually oriented or sexually stimulating material. That means not through mail, computer, television, nor patronize any place where such material or entertainment is available. In other words, you cannot watch porn. You cannot buy porn. You cannot buy dirty magazines. Kenneth Petty cannot buy porn. He cannot watch porn. He cannot have Playboy or whatever sexually explicit magazines with naked ladies, naked women. As a registered sex offender, you cannot have any sexually explicit material. And guess what? If he's watching porn or Pornhub or any of these rated X videos or websites, do you know his PO can ask for his laptop at any time? And if that PO finds out he's been watching porn or anything, he can go back to prison. And guess what? You cannot erase your history because they can go in your hard drive. The computer will always have a hard drive that can access even things that you have thrown out, even websites that you have deleted in your history. There are cookies in your hard drive that stores everything permanently. No porn. I agree, Kales. They should be. If your PO finds out you're getting dirty magazines mailed to you and they check your mailbox, guess what? Nicki Minaj can't even get a Victoria's Secret magazine sent to her house because it shows women that are half naked. That's how bad it is. No, he cannot watch no porn, honey. And I know it sounds silly, but let me tell you why they do that. I know it sounds silly, but it's for good reason. They think about it. Really think about it, y'all. If you cannot control your sexual urges, most rapists done already proved they can't control their sexual urges. As a rapist, they have proven that. So why would you want to give an alcoholic who already has a problem with drinking, why would you want him to get magazines that shows he can buy liquor and he can buy beer on sale? The reason they do this is because they cannot trust the psyche of a predator. If you already had to register for raping a female, for raping an underage female, they don't want you reading or watching anything that's going to get you on hard, that's going to get your dick on hard, that's going to stimulate you. Because you have some men, they got the demon in the semen, demon in the semen. You have some men, once they get hard, they can only relieve themselves by sexually taking advantage of somebody. You have some men, they would rather rape a woman than to go pay a damn prostitute, than to go find a little prostitute somewhere. Because they like the thrill, they get excited from the control of it. They don't want somebody that's going to willingly give it to them. They find more excitement and thrill from taking it. And that is the mind of a sick psyche of a pedophile. So Kenneth Petty better not be caught with no damn porn or no dirty magazines. Why do we have family that would try to hide a pedophile's past, especially women that married them? Well, Nerly, the answer to that question is more simple than what it is. I think we try to look at things way too deep. Think about it, Nerly. It's more simple than what you think. Anytime somebody has to hide something, it's because they know it's wrong. Think about it. You ain't got to hide something that's right, do you? You don't have to hide something that's right. Most things that are hidden is because people know it's wrong. When you got to hide shit, it's because you know it's wrong. It is desperation, but really, y'all, it's because they know it's wrong. It's like a married man hiding his side chick. Why does a married man hide his side chick? What's up, Catnap? And I'll answer your question. And I'll answer your question, Catnap. I've addressed this several times on a lot of my videos. This is not the first time I talked about Nicki Minaj and her husband, Kenneth Petty. But I know a lot of y'all don't get a chance to view every video that I put out there. To make it more simple, this is what Nicki Minaj did. Nicki Minaj got desperate. Nicki Minaj had multiple failed relationships between Safari, Nas. That relationship crashed before it even started. Meek Mill. Nicki had multiple failed relationships. Every man that she attempted to try to build with, they could not deal with Nicki's dysfunctional, demanding diva ways. And a lot of the women in the industry got these dysfunctional diva ways that causes men to not want to deal with them. Women in the industry already have this sense of entitlement because of their stardom and their popularity, and the fact that so many men desire them. Nicki Minaj has always been one of the women in the industry, like Rihanna, like Mariah Carey. She's always been a very desirable woman, not only because of her looks, but because of her status. So Nicki Minaj already had this sense of entitlement as to which she felt like she could mistreat or basically piss on men that really had a desire to want to be with her because of who she was. And she found out, like a lot of these independent women or these women who feel like they're so beautiful and so well put together, she found out that even eventually, even men who you feel like are beneath you are not going to tolerate your bullshit. Just because you are beautiful, successful. That is why Nick Cannon left Mariah Carey. He could not deal with the diva dysfunctionality. A lot of these women in the industry that are beautiful and are successful, behind closed doors, they are a handful to deal with. Safari even stated how Nicki Minaj treated him like he was more of an employee instead of her man. And what tends to happen is a lot of these women in the industry, a lot of their fans, especially their male fans, start gassing their heads, making them feel like, they can pretty much do what they want to do. And what tends to happen is a lot of these men, once they get to know these females, a lot of these dudes that was dealing with Nicki Minaj, once they got to deal with the real Nicki Minaj behind closed doors, that's demanding, bitchy, overly possessive, they get turned off by it. So what happened with Nicki Minaj was she kept losing relationships. And as a woman, when you keep striking out in relationships, you're constantly having men leave, or you find yourself in a relationship where you constantly have to, keep exiting these relationships, it comes to a point where desperation sets in. Nikki became very desperate because when you're a woman with that type of success, remember, you're not supposed to fail. Nikki is not used to failure because you have to realize she is used to being the top dog. But guess what? Just because you top dog in your career, it does not mean you're going to be top dog in relationships. And her career, her success, her money got to her ego, to which she felt like behind closed doors, she could pretty much shit on dudes and treat them all kind of way. And these dudes had to show her, I don't give a damn how successful you are. That's why you have some of these successful women, you notice they constantly stay single. Look at how many men have left Jennifer Lopez. There's several of these beautiful, attractive women in the industry, they can't keep anybody because behind closed doors, it's that different personality the public does not get to see. So what happened was Nikki got desperate, especially when Safari moved on, when Meek Mill moved on. All of these men who she thought she was going to have a long-lasting relationship with, when they moved on and they didn't look back, she got desperate. And this is what happens. A lot of women, when they get desperate, they pick up the first man that's willing to give them attention. That's what Nicki Minaj did. She picked up the first man. If it wouldn't have been Kenneth Petty, it was going to be anybody. Nicki Minaj felt like she had to hurry up and grab a man to prove a point to Meek Mill and Safari and the rest of these other dudes she felt with, oh, y'all got somebody, I can get somebody too. So Nicki Minaj has been going around telling the same lie that she's been knowing Kenneth Petty way back in the day. She knew that dude. She picked him up out of nowhere. She got desperate. And not only that, Nicki Minaj wanted a baby badly. And originally, who she really wanted a baby from, she wanted a baby from Safari. She said that when her and Safari initially broke up, she wanted to be the mother of Safari's first child. So imagine how she felt when Safari knocked up Erica Mena. Imagine how she felt. Think about it. Soon as Safari had that baby, look how quick she had hers. Nicki Minaj, she could talk trash now, but she was in love with Safari. When her and Safari initially broke up, she took that breakup very hard. She darn near cried on the Hot 97 show when she was doing an interview with Angie Martinez. Nicki Minaj never got past Safari walking away from her. And it's just a proof to women. It don't matter how successful and beautiful, how much money you got. A man who don't have near as much as you got, he can get sick of your ass. It don't matter your level of success. He can get tired of your disrespect and leave. And in Nicki Minaj's mind, she swore she had it in the bag, only to find out that Safari said he wasn't going to deal with it. And he didn't. So Nicki Minaj got in a desperate state because, of course, Meek Mill had a child as well. And here it is, seeing all your exes move on and be happy and have children, it started eating away at her self-esteem. So she picked up a man who she knew she could easily get. When it comes to a Pookie, Pookies are not hard to attract. She picked up a man that she knew wasn't going to be a challenge. But the problem was she picked up a man that had a lot of baggage, that now she's going to end up finding herself being obligated to trying to help this man clean it up. So that's what happened. Nicki got desperate because all of her exes moved on. And because she's this successful woman, Nicki does not feel like she's supposed to fail in anything, not even relationships. But Nicki is finding out the hard way. When you're desperate and you don't want to accept the fact that you may need to be alone for a while until you better yourself as a woman, you get desperate, you'll grab the first man that'll give you attention and you'll overlook a lot of significant shit. She grabbed Kenneth so quick, she didn't even know the dude was a registered sex offender. Nicki didn't know that. And now that she's finding out, she's trying to help him clean it up, and she can't. Once you become a registered sex offender, you're going to always be a registered sex offender. Now, like I said, they can't have sexually stimulating material. The registered sex offender, he cannot have porn. He cannot have dirty magazines. He cannot have access to any of that. He also has to submit to doing a polygraph. If his probation officer, his PO, feels like he's lying or being dishonest about something, she can make him do a polygraph. And he cannot deny it. He cannot say, oh, I don't want to do a polygraph. By law, he has to do what his PO says. This is another. These are a lot of restrictions that a registered sex offender has. You cannot violate any of the laws. You cannot be caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. You can't do any of that. You have to report to your probation officer as directed, whether at home or at their office. What else you can't do? You have to be at home at a certain time. Kenneth Petty has a curfew. Most registered sex offenders have a curfew. They cannot be out past, in some states, I think 7 o'clock, maybe 8. Because when it's late, 9 times out of 10, that is when most things happen. Most things happen late. Statistic proven wise, most sexual inappropriate acts, it happens relatively late. To avoid this, registered sex offenders are given a curfew. So they're not allowed to be out all time of night. Nicki Minaj, her husband, they can't be out. She can't have her husband out 10 o'clock at night. She can't have him out 11 o'clock at night. As a registered sex offender, you have to be home at a certain time. This is to avoid a registered sex offender taking advantage of doing things late at night, when no one is hardly around. It's not daytime where people can really see what's going on. So to avoid all of that, they cannot be out all time of night. Registered sex offenders are not allowed to use alcohol. They're not allowed to smoke marijuana. They're not allowed to use any type of illegal drugs. And again, this is to protect potential victims or protect the victim that has already been victimized. The reason why the law does not want registered sex offenders using drugs or drinking or alcohol, because when a person is under the influence of drugs or under the influence of alcohol, most people do not make good decisions in their right mind. So they especially cannot trust a registered sex offender, a criminal who's already been charged under the eyes of the law as a registered sex offender. They cannot trust him to drink or smoke, because they feel like if they're under the influence, they're likely to go back out there and repeat it again. So Nicki Minaj's husband, he's not allowed to drink. If he does drink, it better not be in public and paparazzi snaps a picture of it. He's not allowed to drink. He's not allowed to smoke marijuana. Remember, his PO can check his piss at any time he or she wants. So even though Nicki Minaj can afford the most expensive champagne, Kenneth Petty better not be caught drinking a sip of it. If his PO comes to his house, to Nicki Minaj's house, And see, he has a bunch of bottles of alcohol and wine. Nicki Minaj is not allowed to keep wine in her house. She is not allowed to keep beer in her house. She's not allowed to keep, and me, I have to have wine in my house every day. Matter of fact, I went to the package store yesterday and I loaded up on all my wine. I got to drink. I'm sorry. See, a lot of you ladies have to realize, well, you are in a relationship with a registered sex offender. Y'all cannot have a normal relationship. She cannot go nowhere and drink with that man. He cannot order a drink. Me and my husband, we go out, we have dinner. He doesn't drink like I do. I drink more than him. I order my wine, and every once in a while, I have to make him drink because I don't want to drink by my damn self. I'm like, babe, let's get tipsy together. I have to make him drink. He don't even know what kind of wine to order. I have to tell him what kind of wine to order. He doesn't even like know what kind of wine to get. My husband just does not know anything about alcoholic beverages. All he wants to drink is sweet tea, sweet tea, sweet tea. Sweet tea all the goddamn time. I'm like, no, let's get some red wine. I have to make him drink. But Nicki Minaj, she cannot let her husband drink. Yes, Nerly, I cook with wine. I cook with I don't use a lot of sherry wine, but I use a lot of that white wine. I cook a lot with white wine, especially when I'm making my Alfredo sauce. I use the white wine. So yes, I cook with wine sometimes. I do use sherry red wine when I'm making my chicken marsala. And I know I haven't done any recipes in a while. I owe y'all a recipe. I just been like hella busy. They got me working a lot of overtime at the jail. We short staffed. So I have been sleeping on doing some recipes, but I'm going to upload some very soon. Yeah. If they go to a barbecue party, he cannot drink. All it takes is somebody to take a picture of his ass drinking and send it to his PO, and he's done. Yeah. So registered sex offender, he cannot drink, he cannot smoke. Registered sex offenders cannot be around children. So Nicki Minaj's, her nieces, her nephews cannot visit her residence with Kenneth Petty there. They cannot visit. You're not allowed to be around other children. So for all you pedophiles who smashing these young women out here, keep in mind that you cannot, once you become a registered sex offender, you cannot be around other children in your family. So pedophiles, if you have nieces and nephews that you are close to, and you become a registered sex offender, they can never come to your house, and you cannot go to theirs. You cannot be around other people's children under any circumstances. If Nicki Minaj's husband is caught near anybody's child, he will go back to prison. He will go to prison. Do you realize he has to walk a damn he got to walk a thin line? I'd rather be in prison than to be a registered sex offender. He really can't do shit out here, really. Yeah, when it comes to spams, I just block them, you know. He cannot do anything. Also, registered sex offenders, you're not allowed to have a social media account. You're not allowed to have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You're not allowed to join those websites where you do online dating. Notice Nicki Minaj's husband does not have a social media account. Now, I notice every once in a while, she will post him on her social media account. I'm surprised they letting that slide, to be honest with you. But I know he cannot have a social media account. He cannot have one. He's not allowed. So there's a lot of these undercover pedophiles, these registered sex offenders, and the manosphere in these male spaces. If somebody reports that they have a channel in the page and they're a registered sex offender, they're going back to prison or they're going to get in hot water. If you're a registered sex offender, you don't need to have a channel. You don't need to be on social media. And I noticed too, if y'all follow Nicki Minaj's Instagram, I noticed Kenneth Petty always has that goddamn that damn leg monitor. I noticed it be covered up a lot. He be wearing them long ass pants like somebody can't figure out he got a damn a house arrest bracelet on. We know he wearing the damn leg, that damn what they call it, a leg monitor. We know he wearing one. He makes sure he always wearing pants when nobody can't see him. I'm serious. I'd rather be in prison because it's too many restrictions. And the bad part, my thing is this: ankle bracelet. That's what it's called. Love you. And you would think I would know it because I see them putting the shits on them every day. But yeah, that's what's called ankle bracelet. You know, that's the bad part. Nicki Minaj is not realizing she's putting her husband in a position where he has to face a lot of temptation. Because when you're with a millionaire, being married to a millionaire, there's so many things you want to be able to take the advantage of doing. Kenneth Petty is married to a millionaire and he will never really enjoy her lifestyle. He's going to always be restricted and limited because he's a registered sex offender. He will never be able to really travel with her like he wants. He will never be able to really turn up with her. You know, this is something that average couples want to be able to do. You want to be able to go out of town and travel with your wife, your husband. You want to be able to go out and have dinner and not have to look at your phone and keep up with what time you know, your husband got to be home. That it is, I don't care if nobody says Nicki Minaj is miserable. She got to be miserable with him. There is no way. You and your husband, you and your man, you know, this man, you got to have him home at a certain time. You can't take him to places where there's children. Well, there's not too many places who don't have children. And see, let me tell you something. Nerly, I'm so glad you brought that up because this is another point I want to make. As a woman, you have to be very careful who seed you breed. A lot of Black women, and I say this to be respectful, and I'm not saying all of us do this, but Black women have to start being more selective with who they give their wombs to. Black women, we have a high population and promiscuousness. And it's causing a lot of us to have children from men who have a lot of demons in their hereditary. And what Nicki Minaj is not understanding, some men have inherited certain type of demons in their bloodline and in their background. Some of you sisters have sons that are acting out. You may have a son that's constantly in and out of the prison system, in and out of the jail system. You may have a son or a daughter with all type of behavioral issues when really it's not that they just acting out and being bad, but certain people have things in their bloodline that transcends from generation to generation. This is what's called generational curses. And what Nicki Minaj better be careful at is that her child's father, her only son, his father already has sexual perversion in his bloodline. He already has demon within the semen, which means that her son, very well, those same character traits can be passed down to him as well. See, you have a lot of these women going around smashing dudes for a child support check. But my thing is this, you're going to, in some cases, you can end up with something bigger on your hands than just a child support check. You can very well be giving birth to a child with demonic hereditary issues, because that DNA does not play. That DNA is something serious. Even if that child's father is never active, it has nothing to do with that child, you cannot erase a child's DNA. A lot of these children adopt and inherit a lot of these generational curses from their fathers and their mothers. Same thing. Some of you men are going around smashing these women raw with no protection. That you could be smashing a woman who comes from a family with a lot of mental illnesses. And you can have a daughter or a son from a woman who comes from a family with mental illnesses, and you wonder why your son is acting out, your daughter is acting out. Some of y'all children need to be on medication. You don't get to pick and choose. You have to be careful who you breed your seed. Some people have bad blood in their bloodline. Some people carry the spirit of perversion. Some people carry the spirit of alcoholism. Some people got the curse of child molestation. That you have to know the history of of the person you're wanting to breed a child from. You need to examine and evaluate their bloodline. I almost married a molester. His mother slipped up and slipped out. My uncle was going to beat his tail. And see, fortunately, you found that out. So happened God covered you and brought it to your attention before you actually joined a holy matrimony with this man, because you would have enjoined yourself into a molestation cult. A lot of you women are going around here smashing dudes to secure the bag, but you better make sure you secure yourself by ensuring this man does not come from a family with molesters, with predators. And see, Nicki Minaj, she better pray over her son, ask the good Lord to cover her son, because let me tell you something. Not only does her son look every spit like Candace Patty, her son could very well adopt his demonic and hereditary traits, his hereditary traits. She better hope her son does not carry that same gene of sexual perversion. When you don't know a man and you don't know his history, and you have a child from these type of men, these type of dudes, and your child, no problem, King, and your child starts acting out and doing all kind of weird stuff. If you have a child that has behavioral issues, if your child is feeling and touching on other kids inappropriately, you need to check the bloodline. He ain't doing that just to be doing that. It is somewhere in his hereditary. I don't care how good a man looks, how handsome a man looks. You better check his bloodline, because if that man has all type of generational curses in his family tree, and you have a child from him, you're bringing that seed into your family. Yes, Nerdy says, when having a child or children, please do genetic tests and a mental evaluation. This can pass on to your children. I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. A lot of you women, y'all not caring. Y'all want to secure the bag and get child support, and find out you have a child from a man that has a lot of serious issues. I'll tell you something. in the jail where I work at. I see a lot of fathers and sons get locked up for the same criminal offenses. I see a father that was locked up for rape or child molestation. How about his son is in there for the same thing? I have a lot of fathers and sons that are incarcerated at my correctional facility, and both are locked up from the same thing. I'm telling you, generational curses are real. Y'all playing with it, but it's real out there. It just was the grace of God, love you. It just was the grace of God. If I was legally allowed to show y'all some of the information, which I'm not allowed to do it, but I have a lot of fathers and sons. Both of them keep entering my jail for the same thing. The father was a rapist. Now his son is a rapist. What the saying goes, the sins of a father passed to his sons. I forgot. If any of y'all could remember that, let me know. But I know it's something in alignment of the sins of a father, and I forgot the other part of it. I think it says the sins of his father, the sins of a father lives through his son or something. And it is very true. A lot of you women out here, y'all just breeding babies and breeding babies. And yeah, these babies are cute and cuddly, but you got to realize these babies are going to become grown men one day. Nicki Minaj's son, he's a baby right now, but he's going to become a grown man. And all the money she has, she needs to make sure her son is psychologically evaluated when he at least becomes 9 or 10 years old, and make sure that he does not end up having these same demonic sexual urges like his father has. Again, I know I've been going on for about an hour, going on, I guess, in 2 hours. So I'm getting ready to shut things down soon. But the reason why I had to share the lifestyle of a registered sex offender, because a lot of these grown men, they think that it's cool and it's acceptable to be a pedophile. Y'all are going around here, you grown men who know better. Y'all know better. Y'all are going around here being sexually devious and sexually defiant. You're going around here smashing these underage girls who y'all know are young and dumb, and they don't know any better. Y'all are going around here taking advantage of these young women because you have a mental demonic spirit that you don't want to get therapy for, that you don't want to acknowledge. And the sad part is there's going to be a lot of young women, and this is another point I want to make. This is the reason why a lot of these men, as much as they want to do content bashing women, but you have to realize the reason why some of these black women are so promiscuous, and there's so many of them are having children at a young age and becoming single mothers. Do you not know that before they became full grown women, it was other men who took advantage of them at the age of 10, 11, and 12 years old? Now, I'm not saying this is an excuse for all single mothers, because the truth is you do have some women who just do not handle their business and have put themselves in the situation. But truth be told, a lot of these women who are single mothers, a lot of them was infiltrated in their childhood by these pedophiles. When you are 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14 years old, and you have a grown man who sexually has encountered your body, you 10 years old, 13 years old, a grown man gets on top of you. A grown man is sucking on your breast, sucking on your vagina, stimulating your body in a womanly way in which your body should not be stimulated. He makes you a woman ahead of your time. At 10 years old, at 13 years old, these children should not know what it's like to have their breasts sucked on. At 10 to 14 years old, a female should not know what it's like to have an orgasm. They should not even be experiencing an orgasm at that age. A young girl should not even know what it's like to have a man go down on her. Those type of sexual acts are only designed for grown married women. And when you sexually introduce a child to these type of emotions, you stunt their goddamn growth and you make them a woman ahead of their time. Why you think we got 13 and 14-year-old mothers? Somewhere there was an uncle, somewhere it was a desperate ass woman who moved in her boyfriend who she didn't know was a child molester, didn't care. Something happened that made her a woman ahead of her time. At 10 years old, I was playing with dolls. I was playing with Nintendos. I was allowed to be a child at 10 years old. I didn't have a grown man sucking on my nipples, playing with my vagina. I did not experience that at 10 years old. So for y'all to sit up here and condone these pedophiles and say it's better to get them young and better to get them while they tender before they hit the wall, that's some sick ass bullshit. And then when they become 13, 14, they already sexually overly stimulated. Now they're becoming mothers. They're having 3 and 4 kids at 13, 14 years old because somebody tampered with their youth. But you dudes in the manosphere, y'all not going to bring that up. None of y'all ain't going to say that. Y'all just want to say, these black women are just fucked up to be fucked up. No, a lot of these black women are fucked up because their youth was fucked up because it's dudes like y'all that are up here co-signing and defending these pedophiles. And a lot of you men don't care because, for one, a lot of y'all don't have children. I'm noticing the men who are co-signing and not bringing this out, if you're not co-signing it, the truth is you're not addressing it. You're just as bad as the ones who are co-signing on it. The reason why y'all not, because y'all don't have kids. I notice most of the guys in the manosphere, y'all don't have children. The popular ones that everybody fellowship and worship, they don't have kids. That's why they don't care to call their favorite pedophile homeboys out. They don't care. But have y'all thought for a second that some of these women was not sexually stimulated and penetrated at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Y'all think some of these females are just fast just to be fast? It was a pedophile, an uncle creeping in a room at night. A sick-ass grown man who ain't had enough confidence to go have sex with a woman his age. You know how many young women got uncles sneaking in their rooms at night? They mama boyfriends, they stepdaddies sneaking in their rooms at night. Do you realize how many 12 or 13-year-olds do not want to go home after school? Because they know their mama boyfriend is going to try them because mama work all night and mama don't call and check to make sure she don't even come home on her lunch break. You know how many young females are getting smashed every night, every day by a grown-ass man who they don't want? And they don't have a say-so because the mama don't believe them because she's so damn dick desperate. As a grown-ass woman, you come home and you don't notice your daughter acting funny because you want a man so bad. All of this is not a good look. But you know what? We're going to shut it down. We're going to talk about this another time, y'all. I have said enough. So anyway, this your girl, your diva acknowledged Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth, and I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care, and until next time, I'll holler at y'all soon. Be blessed. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. What you doing?
Not feeling well. I'm all right.